If you had a really large boat, you could bring along anything you wanted. Any kind of supplies, any kind of equipment, as many rods and tackle that you'd like. But if you're in a smaller boat, like this boat, the TwinTroller X10, you have to think about what you're going to bring with you. Over years, I've refined what I bring with me. I'm going to go through my whole boat and show you what I have. Below in your comments, let me know what you bring with you. Maybe something I didn't think of, so leave some comments below. Come along with me. In the description below this video, there are links to most of the items used in many of my videos. They are there so you can locate them in case you are interested. Hi, my name's Gerry, and I'm a TwinTroller boat owner. Let me start at the front of my boat. I have a rope here that's probably 3 times the length of the boat. I hand tie this to the nose. I have a clip up here that attaches to a ring that I installed here. And when I launch the boat, I generally am knee deep in the water. I unhook the boat, throw the rope on the ground or in the water, and I give it a hard push, off it goes. I pull it back with the rope, beach it over here, take the rope, untie it, throw it inside the tow vehicle, park the vehicle, get all my equipment ready, and get into the boat. This blue strap goes around the nose. I find it easier than trying to wrap with this hook around the nose. Right here, I have the plug for the boat. This seals the plug in the back. Why is it here? Why is it on a string? It's so that I don't forget to do that. When I get out of the tow vehicle, naturally the driver's side is here. I have to go past here to get to the back. I never forget it this way. I've done this for years with many boats that I've had to have plugs in, so I store it here the rest of the time. I can't lose it. It's hooked on this horn right here, and off I go. Why are these cables hanging out? I travel with my rods in the boat. Very rarely do I take them out. Most of the time I don't have a cover on. Sometimes I do, but not often. After I get my rods in here, you'll see in the back that there's a strap that I use to kind of holds the back end of the rods down, but the front ends could bounce out. So I disconnect this from my pedals, and the tips of my rods are here. I go like this. Now this fish finder is usually in a down position like this. I go like this, and I wrap it around. That keeps the rods from coming out. I do that on both sides. This is the original fish finder that came with my boat. It's a Lowrance X4 Pro. I think that they come with something different nowadays, but this one, and I'm assuming the new ones, come with the ability to tell voltage. What's the voltage of? That's the voltage of the mainline battery, the battery that gives you propulsion. It tells you voltage. It isn't a good, accurate measure of how much gas you have in the tank like your car does, but it gives you some kind of an idea. When it starts out, it's usually 12 to 13 volts. When you get lower 11 volts, it's starting to slow down. When you get to 10, you better be close to home or have that paddle in the boat, or particularly the outboard on the back, because your motors won't function anymore if you're thinking that this is 12 volts is full, 6 volts is half, 3 volts is almost out. Doesn't work that way. So pay attention to your voltage. Now, I have a second fish finder. This used to be in that kayak. I brought it here, mounted it here. I have 2 flexible ram mounts. It allows me to put it any kind of angle I want. I can turn it so I can see it better, push it this way, that way. It has GPS built into it. There's a memory chip. I can store GPS locations. One of these days I'm going to replace this, but this is what I'm still using. It doesn't monitor the voltage for the main battery because I don't have it connected that way. I have a separate battery in a waterproof case Looks like this. You've probably seen this in videos that I've done, and in the corner I'll do a link to it. This box closes up watertight and then makes a connection here, waterproof connection. People have asked me, where do you get these connectors? I don't know anymore. I bought them on eBay. I've tried looking for them. They don't have them anymore that I can find. But if you do a search on Amazon or eBay or the local auto parts store, they sell connectors for 12-volt automobile connectors. And they're waterproof, and they work just great. If I had to do it all over again, that's what I would use. This is a charger that came with the battery, and there's a little connection here. You plug it in, this charges it, that's how this gets charged. But I like this battery because it's independent of the battery that I use to make the TwinTroller go. I don't want to draw on the propulsion battery. That's just me. Other people do that, and they don't have any problems. I had this anyway, so I use it. This is my casting deck. Actually, it's only half. I built this one in 2 pieces, and you can see the clasp on the end. These two side by side, they then connect together, and it makes it a full one. I'm not really thrilled with the idea of standing on this. That's just me. That's not the way how I fish. I don't fish in a particular spot where I'm not moving. So I can put these together. It gives me the options of doing that. The rest of the time, I'm using this one. Now see this one? It's got a ruler built into the middle. It's still got carpet on each side. And it's got a little thing on the end. You slide it up like that so that the fish, you put his nose up against there, you can't keep going, and then you can take a picture, you can do measurements, you can do whatever you want. Flip that back down so it's out of your way. And more than a platform to stand on, I like this because it gives me a platform to work on. If I'm sitting here and I want to retie, I put my things here, my cell phone maybe, I put plastics. If I'm taking them out of the package, everything goes here. I can move it out of my way one way or another. I can turn it around, set it on the floor underneath. That works good. This came from my kayak. It's a box, storage box that was an accessory to put things in, and I kept it. And this has got any of the plastics, any of the things I'm using right now stay here, including this. Probably wondering what it is. This is for handling toothy critters. Pike, pickerel. We don't have walleye here in Florida, but if I did those. Mudfish, which is called a bowfin up north. They are toothy critters, and they get big, and they are very aggressive. So I just grab a hold of them this way. It's got little dots on here to give me a good traction. One of these fell off. I replaced it myself. You can see the different color. And it goes like that. So I carry things in this bag. I also carry this. What is it? It's a grabber. And it's on a float. So if it goes over the side, if a fish knocks it out of my hand, it will float. And I have put it in the water to make sure it floats. But I stick it in a fish's mouth, push that button, it closes up, I can lift them up, and I can do whatever I want. There's also a scale built into here. I don't know how accurate it is. There's a tape measure built in here. However, it's not a waterproof tape measure, and it is terrible. It's all rusted, and it doesn't work anymore. I wish I did because it was handy. You're holding a fish, you could pull it down, measure its length, and then let it go, and it would always be there. But now I use this. But this is handy for taking a fish that has maybe crankbait in its mouth with lots of hooks and thrashing all over the place. You can control the fish. Push it like that, it opens up, stick that in his mouth, push the button, and it grabs a hold of him. Works really well. I have not done anything since this boat the last time I came in. You can see there's a wad of plastic baits, sinkers, hooks, buzz bait here, there's flukes. And this little pocket here is where I throw all my junk throughout the day. Now, the fish finders that come with it, there are two originally, and it was here and over there on the other side. I've bought two more. I put one over there and one over here, so I have four. They're not the greatest of rod holders, but because a lot of people have said they wanted to do something different. But I haven't had any problems. They turn, you lift them up just a little, they turn all the way around. You can set them at whatever angle you want. You can push this little lever and make it tip down. I like them. My twin troller came with two seats. I only have one in there if I'm fishing alone. But this is always sitting on my seat when the boat gets launched. What is it? It's an inflatable life jacket. This particular one is self-inflating, and I've disabled the self-inflating capability, and there's a little pull cord here. I just didn't want it to activate by itself. If I fell over the side and knew I didn't need it, I don't want it blowing up and getting in my way and all that kind of stuff. If I'm in the water, I can pull this. Now, if I'm in a high-speed boat, bass boat, fishing with a friend or something like that in their boat, I put that capability back on, because in a faster boat, you could come flying out and knock yourself out. The twin troller probably doesn't go fast enough to have me fly out of the boat and knock myself out, but I could fall and hit my head. But I have a wide-brimmed hat. It's Florida, and it's hot. I don't know if you noticed. There's a fan on here. It's really hot today. And I have this bag. It's a dry bag, they call it. It's usually here because when I get in the boat, my wallet goes in here, the keys to my vehicle goes in here, and when you fold this up, you put air in the middle of it, clip it. That's now waterproof. This will float. I take it, I throw it in the back. There's another one back there, and I'll show you that one in a minute. I always have a fishing rag. This one attaches to a clip. I put it here. You can put it all over the place wherever you want. I always have it here. I have a way to hopefully alarm somebody else who's about ready to run me over. That's always there. My seat, I added additional storage to the bottom. I have more tackle that can go on the sides. I have a tray here for putting more tackle. I got more on the other side. I've got a little bag here that has spinner baits and vibrating blade baits, that kind of thing. On this side, I have a pair of pliers, and I have a pair of scissors. These cut braided line extremely well. This is a pick, it's called. It's for picking out a backlash on a fishing reel. Everybody gets a backlash once in a while. That's what it's for. And you can see in a video that I did this pick. I made them myself. This red bag is my emergency bag. It's always in the boat. I don't ever take it out. It's got really important things, probably the most important things that I carry. Let me show you what's in here. First of all, it's a waterproof bag, just like my other one. I have in here, wrapped in a sandwich bag, some paper towels, dry paper towels, a section of rope to tie up the boat to whatever. I have a photocopy of my manual to my fish finder. I have a couple of snacks. They've been in here too long. I need to change these out, but if something ever happened that you're stranded in the boat for a long time and you needed some food, a small piece of bungee cord, a small bendable piece of wire. This is the tool pouch that comes with the Honda, with the outboard. It has a number of tools in it. It's got a tool to remove the spark plug. It's got a screwdriver, flat and Phillips. It's got a wrench, adjustable wrench, and a piece of rope. I also added to that this clip. That clip fits on the kill switch for the Honda. If that switch, that little piece of plastic, ever broke, you would have to hold that red button out and try and drive at the same time. Or if I lost the whole lanyard over the side, whatever. So I carry a spare of these just in case. I also carry this bag of miscellaneous, more tools. In here is a screwdriver, a wrench, adjustable wrench, spark plug, some fuses for my fish finder, and some more spare fuses here. Let me show you this though. Again, spare fuses for my fish finder. This is a circuit breaker. You may recognize it. You have one on each side of the battery, and it controls the power going to each of the motors. Well, if you overstress a motor, this little tab will pop out, and just like a circuit breaker in your house, once it cools, you push it back in and it will run again. Well, what happens if this doesn't work? What happens if you burned it out completely? Well, you would not get any power to either of the batteries. So went to Bass Pro Shops, I think it was, and I bought one of these identical to what is there, and I carry it. So if I ever had to, all I gotta do is disconnect the 2 wires, put them onto this one, and I could be back in business. I don't know that you have to have that, but I like to be prepared. Here's one more thing, and let me back up. Here is one more item in my bag. It is a rope with a loop on the end already. Comes down to what looks like a handle. And let me show you what it says on here. Let me try to get this to focus. Water bugs, sit on top, kayak, and self-rescue ladder and writing aid. And I hope that that's in focus. HTTP www.kayakselfrescueladder.com. What is it? Well, let's say you fall out of the boat and you're way in deep water, can't touch bottom, and if you're in Florida, there's lots of critters in the water, and you want to get out of the water back in the boat. This may not be so easy to get back in. I've not tried it, so I don't know. Just like a kayak, they're not so easy to get back in. So this, if I'm in the water, I reach over the side, I grab the red bag, open it up, pull this out. I could take this and attach it to something that's secured. Here's one example. Put it around the base through the loop. Now tighten it. Now this hangs down. This actually sinks, and you have a way to put your foot on this to help you step into the boat. To me, if I ever needed that, if I'm in that situation, this could be priceless. So I always carry it in my red bag, and it's always in the boat. That's what I do. You've seen a lot of people do these mats on the floor. I did too. I have a video on that. In Florida, there's lots of hydrilla. If you get the underside of the boat around hydrilla that is tall enough to make it to the surface, and you step on the pedals, it will suck the hydrilla inside the motor cavity and clog up the motors. This is designed to get you out of that situation. Let me show you the way how this works. I've got weeds on the bottom of the boat. I pull this out, I wrap this around my hand. Now I'm still sitting in my seat. I'm going to do the other hand just because I'm on the left side of the boat, because I don't want to lose this. It's made of metal. It's rebar. I made this myself. You would just reach like this under the boat, and I can sweep back and forth like this until I get most of it off the grate. And I don't have to reach down over the side. Again, lots of lizards here, snakes, all kinds of things. I don't like sticking my hand in swamp water where I'm generally fishing. And then I just do the same thing to the other side, and I put it away. Should never leave without some kind of paddle. I have run myself aground It was no big deal. Just grab that, stick it into the thing, push off. When you need it, you need a paddle. Now this one is, I don't know, 4 foot. A wooden paddle, it will float, and off it goes. Behind the battery box, down here, I have a bilge pump. I don't know if you can see that too well. It's a bilge pump. It sits flat on the floor, and then it comes out, dumps over the side. I have a switch that I wired in the front of the box, turns it on and off. I do that manually. I don't have it go on automatically. In the water, generally this end is lower than the front end is, and there's a gentle slope, so most water does flow back in this direction. You can turn on that pump to get it out of the boat. If you have a bunch, it's a lifesaver. If you have just a little bit, you're not going to be able to get it all out. You've seen these on other videos. This is the original. It was screwed into the hull in the back. It would get in the way of my boat dolly. I took it off. I had made one of these temporarily because I moved this fish finder over from my kayak, and I wasn't sure how I wanted everything, and it worked so well that I never changed it. And as you can see, it's just PVC pipe, 1/2 inch. I don't even have it glued together. It stays pretty good. If it came loose, it's attached by the power cord. I just pull it back in and stick it together. That goes in like that. This goes here, line it up, and both of them are not screwed into the boat, and I can move them and take them out at any time, especially if like I said, if I want to use the dolly, these things are in the way. All I got to do is pull them up, set them in the boat, do the same thing to the other, and once this motor's off here, the entire back is free and clear. Let me show you something that I've never shown people before. You may recognize this. If you don't, if you ever go to the hospital, you will recognize it there. They also make an attachment that goes to the front of these that will be good for women. You're not always fishing in a wilderness area. Sometimes you're in a lake, small lake, but a lake that's got cottages and homes all around and people on the docks, and kind of standing up and going over the side isn't always the best thing to do in front of all those people. That's pretty handy, and nothing more need be said. What is this? This is a heavy-duty extension cord for a cigarette lighter type application. What would I plug this into? If you look, on the front of the battery box, I wired a 12-volt outlet, and there's a rubber cover over here that goes over a USB outlet. So I can charge my phone either from the 12-volt cigarette lighter or the USB connection. I can also plug this in, and I run this under the seat up to the front of the boat. And every once in a while, I need a bait bucket. The live well that comes with the TwinTroller is really nice, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But this is a tall 5-gallon pail. Pool chlorine tablets come in it. It's a little bit taller than a normal 5-gallon pail. Inside of it, I have a pump that goes to a spray head with little things, and it sprays out like this. It's got suction cups if you want to put it on the bottom to hold it there, and a cigarette lighter attachment. I can put that all the way in front of my pedals. I take this, I plug them in, and this now starts circulating the water. If this is above the water line, which is where I try to keep it, it makes a spray coming down into the water, which really helps to aerate the water. I have a lid that goes over because the fish or bait tend to try to jump out if you have this fairly full. I promised that I would show you the bait tank that comes with the TwinTroller. As you can see, it fits underneath that seat. That seat doesn't have the storage underneath it that I added to this seat, and that fish finder won't fit under there, which is just fine. All I have to do if I want to go out and use that bait tank, if I'm alone, I would just swap out seats and use that seat. And if I'm with somebody else, I would probably not have the outboard on, because when I'm with someone else, I don't use the outboard. I just go with the electric only. This is quite a well-built, nice live well. This came with it. This is a heavy duty air station that I would probably change the clamps. These have battery clamps on it. I can't easily access my battery, so I would take it off and put on a cigarette lighter attachment to it to do what you saw me do. The wires can go into here through this little opening. There's a lid for it. Keeps the bait and fish, if you catch them, from jumping out. This is heavy duty material. It's tapered to fit underneath here. It looks like, I don't know how many gallons that holds, but it would certainly hold a lot of stuff in there. And if you had a big fish, you could put it in there if you wanted to. It's got a big opening. I store this in here in the garage. One of these days, I really am going to use it. I just haven't so far. Recently, I watched someone asking questions about this bait tank and how do you get the water back out of it? How do you get in it? Get water into it a number of ways. You could bring a little bucket of some kind, throw water into it. How do you get it out? This has a little pole here, and this goes in. The first time you use this, if this doesn't quite fit the hole, you turn this like a screw until it's just a little bit snug to fit it in. And then when you push the button down, it will be in there real tight. And it makes it watertight. So to drain this, pull the plug, let the water run in the boat. If you got the bilge pump, you can turn it on if you wanted to drain this while you're in the lake. If you got it on the trailer, all you gotta do is pull the plug on the back of the boat, let it drain out on the ground, and then store this inside the bucket. Throughout this video, I made references to things on my boat that I have already more detail in previous videos, and I will try to make links in the upper end there that you can click to go back and see those if you want. I hope you got something out of this. Maybe learned what I use. You can apply in yours. Maybe something you're going to write below will make me think that I should be doing like you're doing. We're all trying to learn from each other. I appreciate you watching my videos. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Push the bell below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave comments below and tell me what you do with your boat. Thanks for watching. Bye now.